Good morning and welcome back to another episode of our video devotions here at Regal Heights Church. Today we are talking about answering the question, why did Jesus have to die? Continuing on in our frequently asked question, a lot of people, even when they come to terms with the fact that Jesus did die for us, they often wonder, couldn't God have done it another way? Well, I'll tell you why Jesus having to die is actually a very important thing to have had happened. First is that God just can't let things go. When He makes a law and when we break it, He must hold us to account. Could you imagine a judge on the earth, even if he loved someone so much, if someone murdered someone, came before his bench, and then he said, you know what, don't worry about it, I love you, you can just go on your way. That wouldn't be justice at all. So if God is going to be a God of love and a God of justice, then He must hold us to account. His love is shown that He created us in the first place. His love is shown in that He provided everything we would ever need. And that yet despite that, we turned against Him through our foreparents, and every wrong thing we do just kind of compounds it. Then, because He is a God of justice, He must hold that to account. But again, His love is shown yet again in a very powerful way in that He doesn't want us to have to face His justice, because it would be a very terrible thing for us to do. In fact, to do so would take an eternity in hell to try to be able to pay for. So God demonstrated His love yet again by offering a substitute. If we could find a substitute, someone who was not guilty of any wrongdoing and who was willing to take our place in judgment, God allowed that. Now, as I'm quickly looking through this world, I'm thinking there's never been anybody alive who could ever, or let alone be perfect, but to be willing as well. It'd just be remarkable that someone would want to do so. So God, seeing that there was no one who could be His substitute, He took on flesh and He came down, as we learn at the Christmas story. And then He came to the cross, as we just learned at Easter, Good Friday, and Resurrection Sunday, to prove that He had power over sin and death. But that substitute that He was on that cross is what I'm focusing on here today. In that, because He is our substitute, that's why if we, by coming to faith, is real simple, it is accepting Jesus is our substitute. By God coming to earth through Jesus Christ, living a perfect life, He actually ended up becoming the perfect substitute if He was willing. And thanks be to God that He was willing. So He went to the cross to pay, literally, what would we have paid had He not come. It should have been us that was on the cross. So Jesus' perfect sacrifice fulfilled the requirements of justice. That is why we can say that God is a loving God, even though He went to the cross Himself. He demonstrated His love yet again, that He took the pain upon Himself. So that justice was dished out as well as love. He didn't just let it go. He had to be serious about it. He had to deal with it, and He did. So coming to faith is as simple as this. Recognizing that we need a substitute, because we don't want to deal with Judgment Day on our own. This is why I say coming to faith is easy and really takes nothing on our part. Faithfulness thereafter is where our effort is taken. So coming to faith, you may think it is too easy, but that's just it. God does not want your hands on it. He paid for it. He is the one who brought salvation into the world. So simply put, as with anything, that when there's an exchange, there has to be someone make an offer, and then someone make an exchange, and then you have to receive it. So I encourage you that Jesus has already offered. He has already gone to the cross, and now He is offering to switch your criminal record in heaven with His. Not only will He take your criminal record and my criminal record onto Himself, but He will give us His record, which is spotless and righteous. This is why we can say that when we come to faith and that substitution happens, that we are now righteous in God's sight. Not because of what we've done, but because of what Christ has done. And so I encourage you today to receive the free gift of salvation through Jesus Christ. And so on that faithful day when we stand before God and judgment, we will be standing there with the record of Christ and not our own. That is something worth rejoicing over. That is why Jesus says, whoever the Son sets free is free indeed. And I'm just so thankful that because He is also God, His sacrifice and substitution can apply infinitely. Which means, again, when Jesus said, whosoever will may come, do so. So there is not a limited number of people who can come to faith. Because His sacrifice and substitution is so powerful, at just simply receiving that free gift, anyone can come to faith. Now, what is the more difficult part is living out the faith. What are we supposed to do with that? Well, we should live a life that is worthy of the sacrifice. And He knows that's tough. because we still have a bent for doing wrong things. His forgiveness still applies. The sacrifice of Jesus Christ provides for us as well the guiding of the Holy Spirit to help us to get through this age until we meet him face to face in heaven. Well, I hope this helps understand why the justice requirements require there to be an actual substitute, that they're required to be a punishment somewhere along the way for our wrongdoing, but that the love of Christ is shown through that he was the one who was willing to do so and able to provide that proper substitute to let us go free and to let justice be accomplished. So God bless you if you've made that decision today. We encourage you to keep finding out there's answers to our faith. So thank you for joining us here today. We'll see you again next time. God bless.